The top five tonight. The Utah Jazz have announced they're not renewing the head coach contract of Tyrone Corbin. Corbin's been the head coach of the Jazz for the past 4 seasons. Wrubell joins us now. And Greg, this couldn't have been too big of a surprise. You know, not really, Deanie. He had 3 full seasons as the head coach, missed the playoffs the last 2, worst record in the West this year. So no, not really too much of a surprise. But of course, last week, Coach Corbin said he expected to return. He says he always thinks that when he's in a head coaching job. But the rumors have been swirling really most of the season. Jazz management made the decision today, earlier today, told Corbin his contract would not be renewed. They announced it around 1 o'clock this afternoon. Now, the decision puts the Jazz in kind of a unique position, only because they've always promoted from within for their previous head coaching positions. And since moving to Utah, it's always been somebody from within the organization. Frank Layden was in the front office when Tom Nasalki was fired. In 1989, Jerry Sloan took over for Frank when he retired, and Corbin took over midseason when Jerry Sloan abruptly resigned 4 years ago. But the Jazz say they're not going to limit their search to in-house candidates this time around.
We're not going to limit ourselves prematurely by defining any, people or objectives that we're looking for or criteria. And we have to get through this period. We'll quickly come together and start talking about what we want to do moving forward relative to the search and the criteria.
Well, the draft in the summer leagues are right around the corner, so there is some sense of urgency. Jazz also have to get permission if they want to talk to any candidates that are actively involved in the playoffs, for example, right now.
Interesting time. So from an outsider's point of view, he did have a losing record, but he also had the youngest roster. Was there more going on internally with the Jazz?
More than just that. Dennis Lindsay acknowledged numerous times today that, we handed him a very, very young roster, and it's tough to survive that situation, but he said it went beyond that. He mentioned philosophical differences, some personnel related. He said you have to assume there have to be those differences present to make this decision today. So that was a factor, but not simply about wins and losses. He does end up with a losing record in his 3+ seasons as Jazz head coach, but it was just a bit more, as he said, sometimes in relationships it's a matter of bad timing, and that's what it was this time.